The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaru Productions. Hello everyone.
Decker!
Yes, welcome to another episode of First Impressions. Been a while since one of these, but Jacob and Marcus are here with our first impressions of Ultraman Decker.
This one and the next will actually be sort of close together. So that
we got a new Kamen Rider coming up.
Yep, Gates. Yes, we have seen it, and if you haven't seen the post, there's my drink. We won't talk about it until after the press conference.
That's how we always do it.
Yeah. So yeah, but this time we're talking about Decker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk about Decker.
I'm sure you are.
Mm-hmm. The first 3 episodes have shown as of last night. As of recording this,
and they are available on YouTube.
Yes, just like the last,
which is great.
Actually, almost all of the ultras are just getting uploaded at this point. So, if you ever wanted to get into it, just like a friend of mine has recently, it's all on YouTube for the most recent ones, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But Decker, I will say, one, we got to talk about the opening.
Do you like it?
I do.
Okay.
The music video definitely helped.
Oh, I see.
I
did not watch the music video. I think it's fine as far as the opening goes.
Yeah, it's just the whole aerobics portion of that music video. I'm just like, what is happening? So
I was going to say, great. That's not in the theme song.
It is if you look for it. But, yeah, I honestly do like the theme song. I think it's good. I think it's better than last year's. But nothing is going to get up to Zet's. I'm sorry. You got that guy singing that opening title. But yeah, let's talk about how much better this is than Trigger already.
I think the show is better than Trigger. Considerably. So far, at least.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't think it's great.
I
would describe this, from the first 3 episodes, I would describe this show as...
having potential?
As serviceable. I think is the best word for it. It hasn't done anything... There's been one great scene. Aside from that, it hasn't really done anything to really blow my socks off.
No, I'd agree. It has been a lot of fun watching this, especially because I like the main character so much more than Smited from last year. He was the worst part of Trigger, and that's saying something.
There were a lot of things that I think were the worst part of Trigger.
They were all awful. But I think Kanata Asumi, who is our main character here, is much better, at least in these first couple episodes, than last year, like he ever did. So, like, even throughout that entire show.
And I think I know why, at least in my opinion. They're not trying to attach him to any sort of gimmick.
Yeah.
They're not giving him a catchphrase. They're not giving him... He doesn't have a catchphrase. He doesn't have any kind of, like, physical tick that he has or any kind of thing that feels like a gimmick that they tacked on to make him stand out from other protagonists. He's very loud, he's very energetic, and he's very optimistic, always willing to help. Just always willing to dive headfirst into danger if it means helping other people. And they're trying to make him stand as a character.
Yeah.
As a character with admirable heroic qualities, as opposed to, like, let's tack a few catchphrases onto this thing and maybe that'll make it stick.
Yeah. Because that... Kengo, I think his name was. Whatever his name was, I really don't care. Whoever was Trigger's human host.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just... It's such a breath of fresh air not to hear a catchphrase every 15 seconds. That was... It felt so forced from Trigger, and I know this seems like we're just bagging on Trigger for a Decker first impression, but if it works, it works. And because this is a sequel to Trigger. It takes place in the same universe.
It is. It's been 7 years since the events of Trigger.
Yeah.
And so that's why everyone recognizes Ultraman as an Ultraman when he shows up, which is cool. And this show is a celebration of Dinah's anniversary, 20th anniversary.
He'll show up in the show at some point, apparently. Because he's just around.
As long as his theme song shows up with him.
Or the Zenkaiger theme song shows up somewhere else, he will show up. Because he's singing.
Zenkai song starts playing, and he's like, "Wait, no, wrong one." He's
That
like
would be amazing.
yelling off to the soundtrack.
That would be so good. I think I'd start dying. Like, just in the middle of it. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd just implode on myself. I'm getting the characters up now.
Okay. So, where do we want to start? Do we want to start with characters, or do we want to talk about the plot a little bit?
Let's talk about Kamen Rider first. I mean, Master Ryuso Red. I mean, Taiji Murahoshi, who was the commander.
Is that him?
Yes. He played the first.
Yeah, in the remake movie.
And Master Ryuso Red from Ryu Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's fine, yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I like that we actually seem to be getting... Everybody in this show pretty much seems to have a little bit more personality with everything that we're given Nine Trigger.
They do seem to be better written, I think, and they also... Everyone seems to be more... They're more like men and women of action who are actually willing to go out and do things.
Yeah.
And it feels like we're spending less time talking about trying to do things than we are actually doing them. Because in the first episode, we see the commander out there with a freaking assault rifle shooting at the spheres. They were
really out there with
shooting
guns.
At the spheres as they come down, just like ready to gun some fools down to protect people. I was like, all right, that's cool. He's not just standing behind a desk.
Yeah.
So that's good. I will say this, though.
Out there making decisions.
I will say this. This is a trend in Ultraman, and I'm only just now really starting to notice it, but these organizations that are created for the purpose of protecting the Earth are remarkably easy to get into.
They had to set up the main
I know the main character has to join it, like that. We have to do that so the show would happen. But it's like, it's like if you wanted to join the Marines and you walked up and like filled the paper application out, and then like boom, you're in the Marines. You're a full-fledged Marine now. That's all there is to it.
I saw you do this act of bravery, random civilian.
I think you got what it takes.
At least in this show, they showed them actually going through training instead of...
There's a time skip.
Yeah.
There's a year time skip in between episodes 1 and 2.
And I honestly do appreciate
that. And there are because it's Guts is the organization, but then we have Guts Select, which is our elite force, and that's what our protagonists are all a part of. Yes.
So we got that pretty much down there immediately. But they're actually showing, you have to actually go through training and do all of this stuff. And the whole reason they made it is because even though they were told to evacuate after one of the monsters started attacking, they prioritized the civilians over their own lives. So that's how they got selected into Guts Select.
One might say they were selected.
Yes.
Who's next?
Sawa. We haven't really gotten a lot of her in these first 3 episodes. She's the vice captain. I do like her enough.
I do too.
So I will honestly say, and I sort of realized this yesterday, it was sort of like watching the cast of Mebius again. For some reason, that just stuck out to me. Or more.
I didn't really get that.
More the cast of X.
X is, I think, a more comparable comparison.
Yeah. Like, I got the cast of X in this, and I was like, you know what? I'll stick with it.
You can look at everyone and you can see, like, okay, here's where you fit in the team. Here's where you fit in the team.
Yeah.
And they all seem to be, because they're all, fairly new as a unit.
Yeah.
As far as of episode 3. But they all, like, the cast has good chemistry and they all seem to be gelling well together.
Yeah. So it's definitely working for me. I'm really enjoying what we're doing here. We don't really get a lot from everybody. And, this is a 26 episode show, I'm going to assume. So we have a lot more time to explore everybody.
Yes.
I do like everyone enough. Ichika Kirino is...
our heroine for the season.
Yeah, pretty much. And I enjoy what she has going on. I really hope, and this is something that they've done in past seasons, so I'm really hoping they do it here as well, that she has a lot more hand-to-hand fights. I want to see her specifically do them with monsters on the ground and things like that, because I feel like she'd be great. Yeah.
It's a good performance so far. Yeah. Got an appropriate level of energy. The first time we see her where she's watching that rocket ship blast off. Yeah. And, we get a sense of like, okay, we know what it is that she wants. We know that there is a goal that she is striving towards,
Yeah.
and you instantly become endeared to her.
Yeah.
And the way he like very forcefully offers her rice cakes.
Yes. Take these rice cakes.
Which I really liked the scene of his grandpa making the roast beans.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
The classic way of doing it.
And just like seeing him do that, and also just like, did they upgrade their cameras between this show and Trigger? Because the visually this show is very, very crisp.
Yeah.
Very crisp, and it looks really nice.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I can't help but wonder if it was shot in 4K.
Something tells you it probably was.
Because it might be the first if it was. Who are we talking about next? Zoma.
Mr. I'm mad at the world for the moment.
He's our angry Lancer.
Yes.
Our angry Lancer character. And not the biggest fan of him so far, but I'll say this. The fact that even in the first 3 episodes, we are able to see him like put his feelings aside and get along with our lead.
Yeah. That
gives me hope.
Yeah.
So, because it wasn't like the whole episode just like, grr, I don't like you, and grr, I don't want your help. So they're giving us a little more. It's giving us a little taste.
Yeah.
Of what could be to come.
Because something tells you he'll get checked sooner or later, and I'm sort of excited for that to just sort of shift his personality from angry all the time to sort of angry. Just
a mild simmer as opposed to a full boil.
And we also have a robot.
Yes, we do. What did they change his name?
Hanajiro. Who was voiced by someone that a lot of people should recognize, at least by the voice proper. Mr. Ninja Blue.
Oh.
Kaku Ranger.
Cool.
He's pretty much just become a voice actor.
Hiroshi Tsuchida.
Yeah, he does a lot of voice acting stuff. And also
good for him, get that work.
One of the 4 Kaku Rangers who's just busy this year.
I like seeing when actors are busy.
Yeah, I think
especially Toku actors.
The only one who I haven't,
nice to see.
I don't think really anybody has seen in a while is Ninja Yellow.
But
everybody else, 3 of them are busy in the Revice movie, and he's here.
Yep, it's a good voice performance.
I really liked his
voice. It's a good voice performance because they give him levels to play with.
Yeah.
Because it's a robot, it's that very, da 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 da, that very, it's like the kind of static delivery, but then at the end when,
in the end of episode,
what's the main character's name again? Asumi Kanta. When Kanta tells him, you don't have to be so formal with me, and then his voice just completely changes, and it's like, dude, your flying sucks, and it's basically what it changes to, and he's like,
trash.
He pretty much does that. He's like, no, too much, bring it back. That was good.
I really like what he's brought to the role. They've done, I believe they've all done a picture together recently. Because they just did a picture together, and I'm sure you're like, great. Always do that, Kaku Ranger. It's great. But yeah, I'm really liking these first 3 episodes. I really liked what they've done with the actual villains so far, just being sort of nebulous instead of being something.
It's like this organic space empire.
Yeah.
Or it's like one entity controlling several small entities. We don't know exactly.
Yeah, they pretty much blocked off the Earth and Mars from each other. And it's
because we see Ultraman go to try and get to them in the first episode, but he gets like blocked and falls back to Earth.
Yeah. Which is cool because you usually don't see him get to space in the first episode.
Was Trigger sentient in Ultraman Trigger? Did he ever talk? Or because
he had to have been because the whole Trigger Dark thing.
Okay, because I don't remember, and I did just recently watch it, but
Trigger?
Yeah,
we don't care.
Fair enough, but because Decker is one of the Ultramen who is not there is no like sentience that we know of. Yeah. It's just Kanta on the inside, like doing all the thinking, doing all the motions, and it's like essentially a giant Kamen Rider suit.
Also, I really like how he was figuring stuff out. He's just like, I got injured on my leg before I transformed into Decker. It looks like that injury went with me. So it's not a separate body.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I really enjoyed that.
I want to talk about the first fight.
Okay.
The first fight of the first episode against that big, spiky, metal-looking kaiju, which is it's a really cool... They have, like... The first 2 kaiju designs in this show are, like, newer and pretty cool looking, and then they go back to Gamora, one of the older ones.
But then they upgrade Gamora?
Yeah, it's still Gamora, but it's, like, kind of a slicker version, but it still looks like a Showa design.
Yeah. Which I actually really like, because I don't think Gamora is a bad design at all.
No, it's one of the better ones.
And I think the upgrade they did to him as Sphere Gamora, which I guess Sphere versions of other monsters will come in throughout the show.
I have a feeling that's what might happen, is we might see the original and then they might get the upgraded one.
They made a new Elekking suit. After like 20-something years, they finally made a new Elekking suit. It looks pretty starkly different. So I'm excited to see where they're going.
But when we got like 2 episodes in a row where it was like good-looking monsters, I was like, Ultraman, what are you doing?
And like Gamora,
don't get my hopes up. Don't get my hopes up.
And then Gamora came back, you're like, oh. But then they
upgraded him. I kind of was. It was pretty much exactly that.
But then they upgraded him. You're like, okay. Get behind this.
But that first fight.
Yeah, the first
I don't know what the monster's name is, but oh my goodness, like the camera work, the choreography, the sound effects, the just like the way every hit feels like so good. Every time Ultraman either punches him or gets hit, the sound design does such a good job of making the hits feel big, and that's something that has been on and off throughout the series, throughout the years. But yeah, that's it. Spherosaurus is
a great design,
a really cool design.
It's really cool.
The big arms and the spikes. It's got great use of color. I just love like the gray with the blue and red accents. It just looks really good.
It does look really good.
And just like that scene, just oh my god, like it's one of the best fight scenes in Ultraman history. I'm willing to say that right now. In terms of just like those long takes where we have that long shot of him, Ultraman like jumping into the sky, avoiding the blast, landing back on the ground, and the camera like pans back as he's charging towards the camera, and it's just that shot, like it's like a lot of ground's perspective in this scene, where you're seeing, you know, like Ultraman run towards the camera, or the monster towards the camera, or like the monster's POV as he's like pounding Ultraman into the ground, and it's so good, so well done.
They tend to go really ham. We've said this before, we're going to keep saying it. When they do stuff for Ultraman, especially like initial fight scenes and things like that, they go ham. And they will continuously go ham. And I don't want them to ever stop.
But yeah, that scene has been easily the highlight of the show so far for me. Good. It was a very, very good scene. Really great.
Job. But yeah, these first 3 episodes, I've really enjoyed just pretty much the entire thing. And this could be, and it probably is, coming off of how extremely disappointing and bad Trigger was going into this. Just like good.
The more I've talked about it as we've gone on, I think it's good so far. There's definitely room for improvement in some areas, but you know, we got plenty more show to go, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. But so far, so good.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about the first 3 episodes of Decker in the comments below. Don't forget to join us for all the things, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.